we given the straight up cash, or did we?
Hey, I'm gonna go ahead and start recording.
No.
Keep talking about your stuff.
Okay. I don't think we dispersed any cash.
Yeah, haven't dispersed anything because I wasn't sure if I wanted to sell the breastplate that I got.
But then we also got like jewels from that one rich dude, and I thought that the DM said that we could just basically make that money and not have to worry about.
Did you get a lot of money from that?
I thought we got a
wealthy?
lot from that. I've got 606 according to my sheet.
Yeah, I imagine that I would have more if we divided that up, because there was several thousand of gold, of jewels.
Well,
maybe
I have no idea.
Divvy.
I don't remember at all. So
wasn't there actually like a billion or some gold?
What I mean by that is
just infinite money.
What you wrote down is probably what I'm going to go with, but I will round up if there's a discrepancy. We also don't know how much Shade has because he is not here today. But I can check his sheet.
I had intended to go back and look through and listen through that episode again to find out like what the monetary value of everything we got was, but I didn't.
Well, let's see. He has 670.
Yeah, that sounds like the amount I spent right before we went marching.
I don't see any like treasure listed on his sheet specifically.
Yeah. Uh-oh. Yeah. Uh-oh. I didn't list treasure on mine either.
Uh-oh.
Ooh.
Uh-oh.
I was really
My bag of holding has a hard pound axe and a minotaur axe and 4 minotaur skulls, and that's what I have.
If we don't have anything to sell, I am never handing anything to Shade again.
You know what?
Not trustworthy.
But hey, audience! We're currently looking for an intern to go back through all of our episodes and keep track of our inventory.
Apply today.
Tell you what, I'm a generous DM. I'm gonna open up the journal entry from the necropolis, and I'm gonna browse through it a little bit, and see what you should have gotten. So, the tomb of Nicholas Phobos, which was the one that whisked Falben away to. That happened. So that one, actually, you guys didn't open his sarcophagus because.
No, we left.
Yeah. You guys left. So, no, nothing in there. Lucas's tomb was empty, famously. Let's see. Tomb of Okos, Archelander. He had a +2 breastplate. He had a bronze short sword and a shield, each of which were worth 250 gold.
Let me write those down.
Wasn't Okos the one where Falben got stuff?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's
bronze breastplate.
That's in addition to the fancy quicksilver sword he got.
Bronze breastplate and what was the other stuff?
A bronze short sword and a bronze shield, each of which were worth 250 gold. Lysis Archelander, the Mad King, his tomb had a breastplate and shield, both inscribed with platinum, and they are each worth 500 gold.
Okay.
Let's see. Isidore Horath, who was Xander the Lich's granddaughter. You did not go inside.
It was consecrated.
Yeah.
We ain't messing with that.
Murto the Magnificent, the handsome man with the equally handsome clay golems.
Oh, yeah.
His tomb had a decorative breastplate and shield, which are useless in battle, forged from silver, gold, and platinum. They are worth 2,500 each. So that's 5,000 from his tomb. Let's see. Cosmo Phobos. You guys didn't go in there. You tried burning the black sludge out, but gave up. Ryzen Phobos. I believe you did go in there. Ryzen had a mithril breastplate and shield. So do you remember anything made of mithril? Volcan can reforge. Right. So you can sell it, but it might be a better idea to have it get melted down and reused, because mithril is pretty rare. But the breastplate and shield, both mithril, are worth 500 each. There's also a mithril kopis short sword. So that's also worth 500. Let's see. Oh wait, hold on. Nope, that one was consecrated. You guys didn't go in there.
Which one?
Rise and Phobos.
That's fair.
Okay, so no mithril breastplate and shield.
Nope.
Gone.
That's okay. That 5,000 gold from earlier is probably gonna
still fresh on
dry
my mind.
those tears. Tomb of Estor was empty and now just has cursed graffiti. Adonis Nerdigan had...
That was consecrated.
Also consecrated, yep. And then Telemach, which you guys laid a smackdown on the very underpowered stat block. I will not forgive the writers of this adventure for that. I should have.
That was so great.
It's kind of.
I think that was just nice after everything else we'd gone through in Telemach.
I own this place. He had a. So he has a breastplate and shield, but it isn't written with a value. Oh no, it is. So the mithril breastplate and mithril shield are 500 each. But those are made of mithril.
Because I did think that we got something in mithril from the Telemach.
So I'm glad we went back through that because that's a lot of change.
That's a lot of change.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we did kind of teleport back. Actually, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm not gonna do that. I was going to explain why we are technically 2 episodes further than what is currently posted on YouTube and Spotify now. And then I was gonna cut that and put it at the beginning of the episode, so that's the first thing you hear. But we all know I'm not gonna do that. So anyway, there was an audio issue, user error by me. I forgot to set my microphone to the right thing, and we did not have really much useful audio. Well, we had what you guys were saying, but without the back and forth context, it was very difficult to understand what's going on. Anyway, maybe I'll do a Snyder cut of that later. Probably not. So now we're just getting some context for how much money you have, which is a lot. What is kind of the total?
For this, I would like to specifically say that Magus is still holding on to the Mad King's armor that he got.
Right. That was.
So he has not sold that.
The armor that was dented by Pythor's fist.
Right. Yeah. So that would be 500 for the breastplate that he's still holding on to.
Okay. Cool. Well,
and I've placed all the items into the bag of holding list.
Okay.
Hooray.
So you can see it all there, and in parentheses how much dollars.
Love it.
Many dollars. Many gold.
Bag of holding.
There's one
Look at
listing that I said 2 plat stuff because I didn't hear what they were.
Amazing.
Yes.
So there's also the Mithril Forge stockpile, which if you have anything that you want to save for Vulcan, drop it in there. And that way I won't forget what you have invested. You should have that journal entry as well. I need to put a picture of a bag of holding
while
here.
we're counting the mountain of cash, I also have a breastplate +1 I picked up from something before the Necropolis. I think it was a session before that.
Okay.
The legend for that says it's worth 1,900.
Whoa.
But I'm asking if that's correct.
Wait, what do you mean the legend?
You told me it was like a +1 chess piece, but that's really all I remember. And so I just did a import via like Control Enter or whatever as
right.
a breastplate +1, and its default value is 1900.
Yeah, I'm gonna relook at that high. Because 5e famously has ridiculous prices for its stuff. They go from like way underpriced to like insanely overpriced. So I believe I have an appendix here somewhere for like reasonable magic item prices. But I don't remember where it is. Let's just say since it's not really a magical item, I mean, it is magical, but it doesn't have like spells it casts or like it's literally just magic armor. We'll say that would be on the low end of that range of items. So I think I had said 500 for a similar item earlier, so we'll just say 500.
Okay.
And everything's gold because
gold is good.
Gold is good.
Gold is king.
I think I might actually we normally just kind of brush selling stuff under the rug, but because the agora or the commerce area of the city is actually interesting and has stuff going on, I might have you guys go there and walk around. You don't have to haggle every single item, but just if you guys do want to sell stuff, that would be where you'd need to go, and maybe you'll pick up on a cool side quest or meet a.
So you'll take the shield for 250 gold, but how much would you take if all 4 of us signed it?
Why don't you guys go and then roll a persuasion check, and we'll do that then, huh? How about that? All right, well, before we get too much further, who wants to lead us in prayer?
What?
I'm just kidding. I fell into incredible muscle memory just then.
Wow.
Yeah. So, who would like to give a recap? Actually, please recap. Please recap enough to kind of cover the end of the session prior to last through now.
Okay, whoa.
Just the last bit, if you remember.
Okay, so at the end of the session prior to now, we completed a ritual in which Theo did an awesome loot solo and, backed by the power of the gods, destroyed the hurricane that Sidon was sending against Mitros. However, immediately after that, all of the gods just collapsed. Also, Rue landed on Theo's shoulder and talked, which is a thing he can do now, apparently. And it's everyone's problem.
Yeah.
And that was the end of that session.
Yes.
So, the start of this...
Now you're big damn
the start
heroes.
Of that, yeah, now we're big damn heroes. The start of last session. It started with... So Magus caught Kyra as she was fainting and was tending to her and trying to wake her up. Falben had gone over and resuscitated Shade. And so Shade wakes up in time to see King Acastus go over to Valus and make an insight check on him and see that while he is upset about this turn of events, he isn't panicked. He isn't necessarily grieving. He's a little bit more than annoyed. And maybe he's used to this? Question mark. The temple attendants come running over and they are panicked because they don't know what's going on. And then Magus turns back and sees that Kyra's eyes are open and she's grinning at him. All of the gods get back up after this little prank. However, they get back up with effort, so it wasn't entirely a prank. They have lost some amount of power. Magus communicated with Valus telepathy and asked what was how bad it was, and she said to come visit her tomorrow in her chambers. Acastus then led the group out. As he was leading the group out, Magus reminded him that it was the people of Mitros, specifically of Stygian Row, who helped the gods in this, which specifically counteracted both Gaius's and Condrus's counsel in the previous that they had previously given, and I rolled really good on that.
Very good.
So that's good. And then we went out and met the crowds, and Acastus gave a big speech about how, basically that we'd driven back the hurricane, and that he then gave us a reward, which was brought forth by an honor guard, and it was a locked chest, and he unlocked it, and it was the map to the last known location of the Ultros. At which point he gave another speech about how he didn't need it, and he was giving it to us because he didn't need it anymore, because the time was coming when there wouldn't be any more need for heroes because of his grand new Dragon Rider army that he's creating.
He being a direct descendant of a Dragonlord himself.
Correct. Then Magus took the group to the academy and showed them around a bit, and then went to talk to Calcadon, and the master of transmutation, and he gave her the book of the Necronomicon, Lutheria's recipe for making Maenads to keep safe, and also maybe perhaps reverse engineer it. And she said that she would do so. And then we went on a bar crawl, and we went through the city. We learned various rumors as we were going through the city, which I'll go ahead and mention them all now as soon as I scroll to the part where they're recorded.
I think I posted them in the rumors chat in Discord.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so one of them was that for some reason, Discord isn't loading it. Okay, here we go. The Order of Sidon has demanded that the statues of the Five in the Great Agora be knocked down, but King Acasta has refused for now. Another is that the Great Games will be starting soon, which we should probably look into. Orisha is sending a team, but also the Amazons are sending a team. Another one is that no one knows where Pythor is anymore, which is interesting. Another is that the petrified victims of the Lady of Coins are being found in increasing numbers. So that's interesting. With, petrification. We don't know anyone who can do that.
No. Well,
another is just...
It's probably fine.
Yes. And look, I just happen to have the softening oil. I can just use it up on those other people.
It's true.
Another is that the Order of Sidon is growing too powerful, and some think that their unlimited wealth comes from Geigen runes on the island of Yonder. And
the island
the
of
final
over there.
Yep. And the last rumor that we heard was that a great vortex known as Charybdis has swallowed another ship. Charybdis, whatever. I'm not Greek. Charybdis has swallowed another ship that was from Orisha and was heading to Scorpion Island, which was full of young warrior monks going to their final trial. So those were several rumors that we heard. We also, as we were making our way through the crowd, there was someone who cried out, "Stop, thief!" And there was a guy running past with a money bag, and then Theo just pulled out a crossbow and shot the money bag out from his hands and pinned it to a wall.
Dope.
Then we went to another bar, and Shade had some chocolate milk fresh from the cow and with chocolate infused in it. And then we saw another thief rolling a barrel of wine by, and Magus tried to stop them, but they were too nimble, and we chased them down. And as we were chasing them down at the other end of an alleyway, this person stopped out and punched him into the throat. At which point we learned that this gnome person is a member of the guard, whose name is Butt Scratch Tumbledown, and that is canon, and there's no evidence to the contrary.
I'm robbing you of your inspiration. Give it back. Give it back. His name's Warren Reese. You will show him respect. He's been through a lot. That's my selfish DM self-insert character, who I promise isn't going to be this insanely powerful DM NPC that just follows you around and does all the stuff. This is just wish fulfillment, where he gets to live a nice, happy life and do fun things instead of,
Anyway, so we had a conversation about the city guard. He also mentioned that he has a son who is good at investigating things. He also mentioned that, just in passing, like he swore to a goddess who was unfamiliar to us because it was the goddess of luck. I forget her name.
Timora.
But Timora, who is from the old world, and so we now have the potential for other gods besides the five or the Titans.
And just to remark on that, like, you would know that there is, I mean, lots of mortals who live in Thelia are from other places. I mean, almost all of them are, right? And as such, there is a lot of carryover worship, an insane variety. A lot of it is kind of fringe because, the gods here are very active and live amongst the people, and
standing right next to me.
Exactly. So, but you will find occasionally people that worship outside gods. The influence of them is debated, but it happens.
And then we went back to rested in some palace rooms, and then the next morning we went to see Valis. And Valis said that perhaps her husband is not being entirely forthright with us, and that perhaps he still may want the Ultros, but is sending us on a kind of suicide mission to get it for him. And so that if we discover it, maybe we shouldn't tell him. We delivered the Horn of Balmetria to Valis, which Shade hadn't told the rest of us that he'd gotten.
Secrets.
And yeah, so many secrets. And she was appreciative that we had kept that secret from Acastus as well. She mentioned the Lady of Coins as someone that we should probably look into as we're going about the city, as well as the Cult of Lutheria and like what's going on there and where are they getting support from. And then she also mentioned that she didn't know where Acastus was getting the dragons from or how they had aged so quickly, and that perhaps we should look into that. Magus also brought up that Thelia as a deity was still active, and Valis didn't know about this. This was news to her. And I believe that's everything.
That's pretty much it. Yeah. There was like it was mostly RP, so we did cover a lot of ground. But yeah. Excellent recap. Especially since there wasn't anything for you to listen to last week.
Yeah, it's a shame. It's a shame you don't get any inspiration, though.
Yeah,
worth it.
Yeah, no, you do. You do. Anyway, great job. So, where you guys are now, it's early morning. You've left the chambers of Valis in the palace. Let me transition there we go. So yeah, what are you doing?
I think the first thing that we should do is look into the dragon stables while we're here.
You are very close to where this would be.
That seems like a good thing to do. I want to see these stables and how dragons are housed.
Yeah, and now that we're as famous as Elvis, gotta be careful where we walk. Gotta get missions, shortest path and all that.
Yeah, so the Great Palace is also kind of the de facto barracks of Acastus's elite forces, of which most of them are the Dragon Rider Centurions that you met outside the city. So the handmaid who brought you to Valis's chambers, I'm trying to remember her name, if you give me 1 second, Makira, who is an Amazon, in fact. Theo, you probably I mean, Magus, you've seen Amazonians before, and actually Amazonians kind of, they travel a lot, in search of, cool battles and stuff. So you would recognize one, but Theo, you most of all, because you grew up with them. Is there anything that Theo is thinking of or would even say as Makaira leads you from Valis' chambers?
Theo tries not to judge everyone equally, and he understands that in his homeland in general that it's very leaning toward the female populace, so males are kind of considered weaker and looked down upon culturally. So he would be tentative, not really sure what he thinks yet, but he kind of wants to wait and see if there's any of that underlying prejudice still.
Sure. Is there anything that Theo wears, or is there anything that immediately signals him as being from Themis or having grown up with the Amazons?
Probably, Rue would be a big tip off.
Yeah, for sure.
Because those are built by Amazonians as their partners.
They're typically, absolutely. They're typically a little dumber because they're just simple constructs. Rue is probably the most intelligent Stimfey, and whether or not he's more capable is, neither here nor there, but he has more personality,
But externally, he would look identical to what most of them look like.
So we'll say that she doesn't say much. She leads you. Her stride is incredibly stable and level. She has trained just her basic walk, her simple gait, to be one of incredible discipline. So she doesn't bob, and we even go up and down as she walks. She's just level. And she leads you, but she turns her head slightly so that she can see you from her peripheral. And she says, "It's a fine bird. Did you create him or steal him?"
I created him. Thank you for that.
She says, "Pardon me, but I do have my doubts. I've seen finer birds crafted by my many sisters."
Well, looks aren't everything.
Indeed they are not. One's capabilities define oneself. Do you let your bird do all the work for you?
Most of the time.
It is as I thought. Best to keep that the case, lest you die an embarrassing death.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
You're just yeah.
Really, Magus is just face falling in the background.
I really want Rue to look over and be like,
Yeah, I mean, Rue can speak now. Does Rue say anything in response, or?
Probably just, yeah, it's hard to keep this one in line.
She stops. She's been walking at an even pace. She stops in her tracks, and you kind of have to skid to a stop to avoid bumping into her, and she turns fully around. And did your Stimfey just speak to me?
I believe he did.
She just kind of looks at you for 5 full seconds.
And then during that time, Rue will say, "Do you know where any birds are?"
She startles a little bit. She says, I don't think I should tell you.
You're no fun.
No, it's fine. Like, her sisters have made far nicer birds.
She's going to let a little bit of her kind of cold demeanor drop and just say, I must apologize. This is something unusual to me. Your Stimfey can speak. I've never seen this before. How did this come to be?
Oh, just incompetent males doing subpar work.
Well, I do not know what to say about that. Let us continue on. But from this point on, she is a lot more guarded and keeps looking over her shoulder at Rue, but continues to lead you. She doesn't insult you anymore.
Thanks, Rue.
You do pass. You pass kind of a courtyard, a verdant courtyard, full of all kinds of foreign and vibrant plants and trees and flowers, and you do hear several exotic squawks. Exotic squawks.
From Brooklyn.
One of them's named My Cousin
pigeons.
Vinny. No, you hear what sounds like a those fancy gardens at like country clubs that have like parrots and cockatiels and stuff just kind of hanging around. It's kind of like that. And there's
these like just stray birds, or are these like birds for sale, or are they
it's
cages,
in a palace. They just live there. Like that's
so they're just.
They are free. They probably are either trained or they have their wings clipped so that they can't like escape. But they are there as decoration, essentially.
So you're saying they're spoken for?
That just makes them easier to get.
So this is a moral quandary that I'm putting in front of you, because as you said, these birds are not for sale. They do have their wings clipped and cannot escape. And you have a mechanical bird that thirsts for blood for some reason, as well as you, who built your mechanical bird so that you would not be tempted to eat it. So this is just kind of I
just enjoy deconstructing things and seeing how they work.
Yeah.
It's not weird or anything. What?
Falben's seeing these birds and, knowing the lay of lands, is going to position himself, be walking in such a way that he's in between the peripheral vision of Rue and the birds, and just kind of maintain that pacing.
Okay. Your body blocking, and it is a wide open door, by the way. It's not even a door, it's just an archway. It's like 12 feet across. There's no window, no gate, no door. It's just open.
Rue, I mean, Theo's not going to be like, go get him or anything. He's not that much of a savage. But, if Rue feels like it,
What if I tell you how beautiful and, like, how plump one of these parrots is? What if I paint you a Thanksgiving feast of a word salad?
Ooh.
No, okay. You've passed my moral test. You've solved my tempting parrot puzzle, and you continue on. You kind of leave the more exotic and gilded areas of the palace and enter a more kind of Spartan area. I say that as just a descriptor, but it's almost literal here. this is sort of a barracks. It's its own separate...
Spartans training.
Literal Spartans. The Spartans are more like Aresia. I guess if this were like Rome and Greece kind of put together, Mitros would be like a little more Roman. They have like centurions with phalanx style combat and stuff, and then Aresia has like the warrior monks that just go like totally shirtless with the cloaks and the briefs and the spears and shields. Yeah, so anyway, but you start to hear like marching and training swords and clashing and arrows impacting targets, and you smell a blacksmith shop, and you smell kind of like roasting meat, and and you're eventually greeted by I believe it was Tarkon, the centurion captain who met you outside the city when they were going to pick you up with their dragons. And he says, "Good morning, Makaira. I see you've brought the heroes again with you." And she just steps aside and gestures to you, and he gives a deep military bow. I don't know exactly what they do, but
I assume Shade responds accordingly.
Yeah, that would make sense. Shade, we're gonna executive decision this for you. You use your military knowledge and do the thing. And he says, that is an older bow, but one that is acceptable in the King's Court. I like to think of it as, have you guys seen that movie Hacksaw Ridge that has Andrew Garfield in it? Great movie. It's a real life story about this World War II soldier who was a conscientious objector and wouldn't touch a weapon, but he was a combat medic, and he does these like ridiculous feats. But his father in the movie, who's played by Agent Smith, I'm trying to remember his name. Hugo Weaving. His father was a World War I vet, and there's a scene where Andrew Garfield's character is getting court-martialed, and he shows up in like his World War I garb, and there's this like mutual appreciation between the World War II general and the World War I vet, and so I'm kind of getting that same sort of vibe. A world apart, but from the same cut of the same cloth. So he goes to military rest or whatever and asks you what he can help you with.
By your leave, no, maybe not by your leave, but the Queen had spoken to us, and I regret not being able to take your offer of a ride when it was first given. It seriously galled me to take the way of Lutheria instead, but solely for the purpose of arriving sooner.
He says, "Well, we would have met with you sooner than that, but our scouts were unsuccessful in locating you before that time. So it was unfortunate all around, but your decision was a wise one. The city is in your debt."
So since we missed out on that opportunity, we have permission from the Queen if we could go and see the stables, because I have always wanted to see a dragon.
Roll a persuasion check.
Yeah.
25. He looks at Makaira and then back at you and says, "By the Lady of Wisdom's counsel, I will grant you an audience with the dragons. I will have to insist that you follow certain rules while you are here. They are undergoing training, and I do not wish to counteract any of the training going on.
Of course.
If you will follow me, and he starts to lead you through this open courtyard, this training area, and eventually you come to what just kind of looks like an oversized horse stable. So it's the same sort of layout. It's like big double doors on the front of this building, and you can see what looks like doors that open, or like a hatch that opens on the roof of this building to allow, vertical flight out. And the kind of comforting smell of straw that is then starting to become overpowered by the scent of excrement and raw meat starts to kind of overcome you as you enter. There are several guards and like stable hands running back and forth. You see a stable hand like with two like young pigs like that are, drained and cleaned over his shoulders, and he's like running in with, fresh food. There's somebody running out with a wheelbarrow piled with dragon excrement. And it's kind of a noisy scene in here. It's I will say that this is something Shade would know. I'm not going to call for a roll because he's not here, but having been a dragon rider himself, he would know that this is not an environment that dragons typically exist in. Dragons are pretty independent creatures. They aren't livestock. They aren't pack animals. And kind of having them all together in just a building, even youngish dragons like these, is kind of counter to how they like to live. And dragons also like their hordes. It's kind of a stereotype about dragons, but it is true. Like dragons like their stuff, and each dragon is different, and this is just a place for them to sleep and eat, essentially. Like this is not their lair, it's not their house. So I think Shade has kind of a distaste the moment he comes in here. Because with Ryzerand, I'm not going to describe what Ryzerand's lair or place looked like, but it was his own bit of himself. He was able to express himself and have space, and whatever made him happy around there. And never once in his entire career as a Dragonlord did he come across a place like this where they just all live together, even at the height of their power, when there were more than a dozen dragons. They didn't just all live together in a building, So I think Shade, I don't know if he would say anything, but that is what Shade is feeling. And he might kind of express that quietly to you guys.
That Magus will speak up and said, like, wow, so how I have so many questions. I've wanted to be a dragon rider since I was young. How like do you know that they prefer boar? Like how did you learn to care for them? Where did you get them? How did they
He says, well, it's been a long time since dragons were in the company of mortals, and as such, there is not a lot that we know, but we do know that they have a great hunger, and we satisfy it to the best of our ability. Mitros happily offers up the best fruits of her labor to satisfy the hunger of these great beasts. and you can see how much they're growing. And actually, you can see they look even a little bigger than when you saw them just like 2 days ago.
Yeah. Indeed, I don't think I've seen any creature grow this fast.
Indeed, I never thought, growing up, I never had any clue that they would grow this fast. It must be the fruits and wines and cattle that we feed are just the finest in the world, and no creature would dare grow so slowly in such good comfort, wouldn't you say?
I imagine I'd be a foot taller.
Theo would be in the back, kind of snickering, trying to hide a laugh with this rhetoric.
Yeah, it's clear he has no clue. It's clear he has no clue what he's talking about.
Yeah. Are they like? Do you get these from like? Is there an agreement with the local merchants, or like is there like a vetting process, or
for the like the pigs and stuff, or the?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, he says, they are donated. Anyone would be honored to offer of their own goods to feed the king's noble dragons.
Falben shifts on that statement.
Donated.
What's the thinking there? I'm actually not sure.
Well, it would take an extraordinary amount of food to feed these things.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And when people in power say donated, and anyone would be honored to donate, it usually means they did a roundup and stole the stuff from poor people nearby that didn't want to donate.
I mean, you can insight that to see if that is what he's talking about, if you want.
Oh yeah.
Because it is possible that that's not what he means. Yeah, that's pretty good. He seems to mean that, like, for real. He means that, like, farmers, not farmers, but like, landowners and merchants, people that own the large collections of farms, they do donate stuff to the dragons. I mean, this is Mitros having dragons is it's an incredible boon for the city. It's a point of pride, and they don't need to go and shake people down for food. People willingly bring it and give it.
Shocked.
Not to say that they wouldn't do that if there was a need, but as it is now, people are like flocking to be the ones to have the dragons partake of their goods.
All right.
Is there like a food taster then for the like? You'll have to forgive me my recent dealings, and also just the way the Titans have twisted the Oath of Peace to bring such harm against my city. I cannot imagine that, like, if it were a member of the royal house, would just accept donated food without verification.
He says, you imply that one might poison the king's dragons? Who would dare such a thing?
I imagine that there would be those who would not have the city's best interest at heart.
He says, I doubt there would be a poison powerful enough to affect one of these great beasts. Maybe you or I, but now that you mention it...
How old is this guy? 12?
He snaps a finger, and then a legionnaire comes up and salutes, and he says, Titus, from now on you shall sample every every pig, and every glass of wine, every barrel of wine that's brought to these beasts.
Magus.
And you can see he kind of looks at you, Magus, and he's just like he's like super full, and he's like, oh god. But he says it will be done, my lord. And he goes and starts to get some cooking materials together, because he's not going to eat raw pig. You know?
Better buy that man a drink later.
Yeah, poor Titus. He's going to be like Brad Pitt on any movie scene where it's like, well, I'm going to eat this for real every time we do a take, and I'm going to look amazing doing it. And he says, I must thank you. That is, the king will be very grateful to hear that you've brought this idea forth, and his dragons will remain strong and safe.
How is it possible to get close to them? Like I want to see them. I think had to pass on the opportunity to actually ride one earlier.
He says it's clear that you care about these beasts, and you express the correct amount of awe in their presence. And yes, I do regret that you were not able to partake in the magic of their flight. Follow me. We will introduce you to one.
Magus is like half of him realizes he's on a mission, and the other half is just fanboying right now.
Yeah, totally. And
Theo is just like, he's interested, but from like a mechanical standpoint, like, how do these things fly? They're so big.
But is Theo thinking, is a dragon a bird?
No, he's thinking that's a bit big.
Yeah, so he takes you deeper into the stables. About half of the stables are empty. You can imagine that probably some of them are out flying right now. But he eventually brings you to one. There are two currently in these stables, and they are both bronze dragons. And let's see. He says this one's name is Anaxus. And he is not sleeping. He's like eating a cow. He's like finishing off a cow. And he says, do not startle it. Make sure your presence is known before you approach the gate.
Hey, I'm coming to sit down.
I'll pet you so good.
Yeah, I will slowly move up to the gate and like try and like make sure that I'm in its field of vision.
Yeah, it is that their eyes are kind of mounted on the side of their heads. And this thing is huge. I mean, you didn't quite get this close to it and like the other day on the road. But it is, 20 feet long-ish, hulking bronze form. Its breath is it feels like you're in the presence of an elephant that can also like breathe lightning and slash you to death. So it's very, very awe-inspiring, and especially given that one of Magus's like long-term goals is to be a dragon rider. This is like, this is you're there, you're right there. And its eyes are on the side of its head, and it sees you. The eye turns towards you, and then it kind of looks back at its food. It doesn't seem to mind you there.
Okay. I look back at the centurion. It's like, can I approach?
There's like a gate between you and the dragon, and so you're asking to go like through the gate.
Yeah.
He says, let me come in with you. I would not. I think it would be a poor idea to send you in alone, just in case. So Tarkon, he opens the gate, and he moves in ahead of you, kind of an arm outstretched, and he says, "Anaxis, boy, it is I, Tarkon." Tarkon is not this dragon's rider primarily, but given that he is the captain of the dragon riders, he's got experience with all of them. And Anaxis kind of slow blinks at him while continuing to finish his food. And Tarkon turns back to you with a hand, and he says, "Let him finish." And about 10 seconds later, he gobbles up like the last leg of the cow and like tilts his head up and gobbles it down. And then licks his lips and kind of reveals these rows of huge teeth, like each as big as a dagger. And he kind of snake-like circles the room, snake-like, dog-like, like a dog preparing to rest, does like a little circle, kind of patting the soft straw-strewn corral, and then plops down and begins to rest his belly full. And he says, "All right,
I am going."
Go on.
Okay. I will go up, and I'm going to use subtle spell to cast message to the dragon.
Okay.
And I will say, "Great Anaxis, I am Magus of this city. I have dreamed of dragons my whole life, and you are more magnificent than I could have hoped." And I say that in Draconic.
Yeah, I figured. No. The dragon, he lifts his head a few inches off the ground, looking directly at you, and he cocks his head slightly as you're speaking to him. His ears twitch a little bit, and he actually, like, with an arm, kind of scratches at an ear, like he's like confused that he doesn't hear you, but he hears you. And he does not respond. He just looks at you quizzically.
Dragons are sentient, correct?
They are.
And Magus knows this.
Yeah. And this is an adult dragon.
Yeah.
It's a bird.
Do it. No, come.
Yeah, he just, like, while you're speaking, he looks at you and almost kind of sways his head. Like, once the confusing sensation is past, he's kind of entertained by your speech, but does not reply.
I will now just speak out loud in Draconic. It's like, "Great Anaxis, was your meal satisfying?"
Again, he looks briefly confused because this time he's hearing you with his actual ears. But he just kind of like wobbles his head a little bit as you speak, and doesn't reply. He burps a little after you finish speaking, and you smell just like raw cow blood and stuff as it's just belch just wafts towards you. And he says, Tarkon says, I don't know what you're saying to him, but he seems pleased by it. Have you considered becoming a ward of the king and perhaps entertaining his beasts.
Yes, Jester.
I just shoot a glare at Theo. He's like, what would the process be for coming into and dealing with these creatures?
Well, you would need to make an appeal to the king, but I would happily endorse you. Anaxis here. He seems quite content in your presence. We often have difficulty with their mood, but besides a full meal, there isn't really much we know how to do to comfort them. But you seem to know your way around a dragon.
I was simply speaking what I felt was appropriate. How many on your staff speak Draconic?
He looks around. Perhaps enough to pass a simple school class, but I don't think any of us are masters of the language. It hasn't been spoken or needed to be spoken in quite a long time, so there are few who speak it fluently.
And you mentioned that his rider is away. How are the riders chosen?
Oh, they are the best of us. They are the bravest, the strongest, the fastest, the best eyesight. That is important when you're so high above your prey, to be able to spot the enemy and direct your beast towards them. You there, Satyr, you certainly understand the importance of keen eyes when you're on the hunt.
Oh yes, I always have a keen eye for prey.
Yes, exactly. So, men like yourself, just bigger and stronger.
Bigger.
Oh yes, but how are how are the specific choice made of rider to dragon?
Well, whoever takes to them the most naturally. The dragons are introduced to them while they are young, and that seems to be. I mean, we've only had one go at it so far, so
yes,
it's not been without issue, but they seem docile enough.
This was truly remarkable to see the beginnings of this new order.
It is truly a new age, and King Acastus is the person to do it. He has the bloodline, the birthright, and yes, and now the dragons. The picture is nearly complete.
Yeah. Magus isn't going to say necessarily make any more comments for fear of insulting people with what he actually thinks.
If this guy wasn't so damn proud of his work, he might be paying a little more attention to your questions.
Yep.
But
but I think Magus is not really satisfied, but he doesn't really have anything. Maybe just a quick look around if there's anything that seems out of place for a stable. I mean, he's not really a dragon or animal handling person.
Yeah, I mean, it's got all the things you might expect in a griffin stable, which you may have seen a griffin stable before. And actually, these same riders used to be the griffin cavalry here in the city. So some of them were just kind of naturally trained. It's like they had experience in prop planes, and then all of a sudden jets come out, and it's
yep,
they know the basics. This seems like almost a repurposed, upgraded griffin aviary. Is that the word? Aviary? Yeah.
Yeah. I think so.
What is Falben kind of thinking, seeing all this?
He's thinking something's amiss. He's thinking that how this is structured kind of smells of magic, and it kind of at this point he kind of lean over to Magus and be like, "Have you tracked the dragons for magic?" Say it in a hushed
Unfortunately,
way.
I'd have to do a ritual for 10 minutes in order to get that. So it might be a little obvious.
Maybe if you apply for a job as a dragon jester, you'll be able to do that.
There are limits to what Magus's pride will allow.
Aren't you proud of this city? Do your part like the farmers.
But yeah.
And,
particularly for animals that he does not consider to be dragons.
Yeah, and one thing I hope is obvious at this point is that Tarkon speaks of the dragons as if they are just animals, which you get the feeling that from how Shade has talked about how he's talked about Ryzeran and how Aesop has spoken about the Dragonlords and their dragons. Dragons are equal in terms of sentience to humans and mortals and their riders, and they are worthy of every respect that you would be. They are not simple beasts. They are quite intelligent, and so that would be enough to at least put Shade very off.
Right.
But it's clear that this is how they are viewed here.
Right.
Like a good horse.
Yeah, like a good horse. They are loved. They are taken well care of, but they're not equal. Not at all.
So while Magus is telling me about this whole 10-minute shenaniganry, I'll just be like, just tell them you're gonna commune with the dragons.
Yeah. Okay. Then I was like, actually, I mean, you talking about how he seems more calm in my presence. Would it be all right if I tried something to maybe commune with him a little more deeply?
Do you give a persuasion check?
But
Like he likes you, but
I'm gonna use inspiration and re-roll that nonsense.
okay. It's like he does like you, but this is a big ask. Okay, that's probably.
I rolled it.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
that's probably enough. He thinks about it for a good beat. He looks around and he says, "Well, Anaxis here is, he's resting after a big meal. He's probably at his most docile. I would normally dissuade such an action, but you seem to have his ear, and I will leave a guard with you just in case, but yes, I think that would be acceptable. How long will you be? I would recommend he get some rest, so I would not keep him.
Oh, of course, I wouldn't think to intrude for over long. 10 minutes should be sufficient.
Cool. I don't know anything that takes 10 minutes in this world.
Yep.
Gonna go play some cards.
I am now counting on him being stupid.
He's not stupid. He's just not. He's just a soldier. He's just a.
Go read this month's Daily Allegiance magazine.
He's gonna go do. He's gonna go paint like a pinup painting on another dragon.
On another. Mm-hmm.
Bunch of little bomb decals on it. So he gives you a salute. He thanks you all again for your service to the city and to the king, and then heads out and brings back in Titus, who sets up just outside with a he's making a fire and setting up a little stew pot, and he sets up a table, and other servants are coming in and just like laying a like they're stacking up the next meals on this long table, and he's like, he just kind of sighs. Okay, here we go. And he starts cutting a piece of meat off the first pig and, boiling water, and he's like, you know any way of making this go faster?
He's just asking the air, or
he looks at Theo. He's like, okay. You look to be a hunter. Do you cook a lot? I hate to think that testing every single one of these pigs is going to take half an hour of my life.
Well, I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do. Some people sign you up for things you don't want to do, and
I that is true. I was kind of hoping one of the heroes of the hurricane would be. Okay, yep, all right, well, going to just boil this pig meat.
Yep.
oh my god.
Thank you.
You're just gonna have to hang in there and tough it out. By the way, that guy's name is Magus,
I don't
and
suppose
he's
you
staying at this address.
I don't suppose you have any salt on you, anything.
Yeah, man, I'm sorry.
All right.
So am I.
Okay. Well, if you want any of this plain boiled pig, let me know.
Magus has probably got some though. You should talk to him when he's.
Oh, I'm busy.
He looks busy.
I guess he's a real douche canoe, isn't he?
He's stopped paying attention to you. It's clear that you're not really gonna help him out with anything. Okay, so Magus, what's this ritual you're doing?
I'm ritual casting Detect Magic.
Okay, yeah. I'm assuming between the three of you, you can kind of. I mean, Titus is consumed in his work, but you're kind of keeping an eye out for Tarkon in case he comes back or anybody else. 10 minutes go by. The dragon is kind of starting to fall asleep, and like by the time you finish casting, assuming you guys aren't making a lot of noise, he is asleep, and his like nostrils, which are like the size of softballs, are just kind of like opening wide and squinting as he breathes. And is it bronze dragons that breathe lightning? Is that it? I think. I believe.
Yes.
So like, there's kind of like a little stench of ozone as he breathes. And if you have any materials that are like prone to static electricity, they start to like charge up with static as you are in close proximity to it. But you finish the 10 minutes and you detect magic. Do not. Well, so dragons are magical creatures, but they are not typically they are not under the effect of a magical effect. They just are magical by nature. So I will say this does not account for that, or it does account for it. So you're not getting the false positive of the dragon's innate magic.
Correct.
You would just be getting any off magic. And in that regard, you don't sense any magic in the 30-foot radius.
Interesting. At which point, like, I'll stand up and like quietly leave the stable, and I'm just going to try and like do like, nonchalant, just kind of like wander around a bit, trying to get as much of the stable in the area within the 30-foot radius as possible, just to see if there's any weird magic going around.
Hold on, I need to retcon. You're back in the stable. You're casting Detect Magic.
Yep.
What is the... Okay. You don't expect to get a natural, innate, magical reading from the dragon. However, as if you are... when you have Google Maps pulled up and you do like an overlay and you overlay like the topography over the map, or like the satellite view or something, you get an overlay of this dragon of like its circulatory system. So where you have the scales, the bronze scales covering it over its sleeping, hulking form, there is just like a web of minuscule, blood vessels that, like rivers, like roots of a tree, connect into arteries and veins, and you can just barely see, because of how deep it is in Dragon, the hulking, beating heart at its center. And this is a magical. There is magic in this part of the dragon. The circulatory system of the dragon. And the type.
Do I know what school?
That you would. It is. Sorry, I need to be very careful about this. Because I am bad at like judging which is.
I mean, you could just tell me exactly what it does.
That's really straightforward. Just, tell him what it is.
Titus begins acting strangely.
Yeah. I believe it is transmutation. I'm pretty sure, based on what its effect is, it is transmutation.
Okay.
So there is some kind of transmutation magic laced throughout its entire circulatory system.
Do I detect anything similar from the tables of food being fed to Titus?
No, you don't.
Okay. So it doesn't look like it's coming through the food.
I will say, actually, roll an Arcana check.
Okay.
And then if you roll bad, I'll just pretend I didn't interrupt you with anything.
Right.
Okay, pretend I didn't interrupt you with anything.
Dang!
You still got a good amount of information that I did not anticipate giving you.
Yep. Because you said you already told me the result, I can't use inspiration on it either. So.
I did kind of quit. You didn't get an opportunity to interject, so if you want to decide to inspire it, that's fine.
All right. Then I will use my second inspiration.
That's what they're there
from
for.
Butt Scratch Tumble Down.
Are you boosting it by 5 or re-rolling it?
I'm boosting it by 5. I'm gonna make it 23.
Okay, I will say that's enough. So the view of the transmutation magic throughout the dragon's circulatory system is the strongest, but you can see that it has permeated essentially all of the flesh, like all of the physicality of the dragon. Every inch of this dragon has traces of this transmutation magic in it. It's very hard to see, but you do see it.
Would I know what it would take to maintain a transmutation effect? If there are spells that could just be a permanent transmutation magic, or if it's something that has to be continually re-upped?
I don't think so. I think you'd need to talk to an expert.
All right. Then I think I've gotten some good information.
Yeah, I would say so.
And I'm going to quietly leave the stable. Close the door behind me. And as I'm walking past Titus, I'm going to say, Sorry, man. I did not mean for that. And I'm gonna like prestidigitate his food to at least taste like salted pork.
Yeah, he takes a bite and smiles and says, "You guys are all right. Some of you at least. Don't tell Tarkhan. Oh man. All right, back to eating every pig in this city. Y'all have a good one."
All right. Yep. Then I'm gonna leave. Is the handmaiden around?
She is kind of out in the courtyard. Just actually, you see, she's picked up a bow, and she is like target practicing, waiting for you.
Right. Then I would ask like, okay. First of all, like, do other people have things they want to do in the stable?
I'm good. I got what I came for.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then I'll go up to the handmaiden and ask if Valis had wanted us to return to her.
She says, she's like not even like bothering to look at you. She's just like firing off arrow after arrow, and she's good. They are accurate. She's not like Hawkeye, like bullseye every time, but she's clearly very skilled. And she says, my lady is performing her duties for the city. You may find her at the Temple of the Five if you're lucky. But she did not specifically request your return. I will say many seek her wisdom throughout the day, so do not be surprised if you are unable to secure an audience on short notice.
That is fair. Did you?
She does turn to you before you leave. Like, she looks at all of you, and she says, I want you to know that I do not really trust you very much, but my lady has given you more audience than she has to anyone in a long time, and that does say a lot. I think that had her and her siblings and Volcan not been there yesterday, or the day before, the city would be lost, despite your best efforts. But I do not say that to discount your heroics. Your deeds are worthy of respect, but Lady Valis is my charge, and though she does not need my protection, I feel compelled to vet anyone who spends time in her presence. So please forgive my nature.
Well, if the Five hadn't been here 500 years ago, the city wouldn't exist at all, so
she
offense.
nods in deep approval to that. She says, not nearly enough have that sentiment. If you do go in search of the Ultros, I do wish you luck. I will need it. I'm sure you know your way out.
I'm gonna then go see if Valis is at the temple.
Okay, you guys head south from the palace, down the marble steps, arriving at the Temple of the Five. And indeed, they're actually, as you approach, you can see Volcan and Pythor. They're kind of walking out of the temple in your direction, and they're kind of just chatting and, you know, jabbing at each other. And it's nice. Like, you haven't really seen them in a kind of a casual, like, father-son situation before. And they may not have had moments like this in a while, but they're in a good place. And they look up and see you, and they all smile, and Pythor like grins and kind of crouches down and runs towards you with his arms out, and he swoops in and he grabs all three of you. He doesn't try to grab Shade too, but he grabs, you know, Theo, Falben, and Magus, and just like lifts you up in the air. He says, "Oh yes, my friends," and then sets you down. And he says, "Oh, you caught us just in time. We were about to head back north." Well, I'm
glad, because
yes,
I have something that I if you would want it.
Oh, I mean,
intended to give you. If there's a...
What I really want is a challenge,
maybe not in... No. Perhaps not in full view of everyone. And there's a kind of like move over to like the side of the building or something.
Oh, well, yeah, he goes around. There's like a big column that you guys can go around behind.
Yeah.
He says, "What is it? Are you gonna slap me in the face again?"
If I did that, I'd make sure there were no columns present.
I don't need blunt objects. You should know this by now.
Indeed. So, before we came here, we were at Telemark.
Yes, I heard. Yeah.
And among the tombs we visited the tomb of your predecessor, the Mad King.
Oh, that fool, yeah. You did? Did you, Did you piss on the door there?
I think we did more than just the door, and I'm going to pull out the breastplate.
Oh. Oh, you didn't. This is for me?
Well, it certainly looked familiar to something I was on the and I point to the dent, to something I was on the receiving end of recently.
Oh yes, I remember delivering this blow. It was, the greatest act of restraint in my entire life.
But if you would want this to remember that even if you felt the need to abdicate, and no disrespect, but I do think Honora is a better queen.
Oh, I do too. Honestly, I was never more relieved when she agreed to take the crown.
But just as a reminder that your rule was a positive impact.
He holds the breastplate in front of him and just kind of like gingerly places his knuckles in the indentation, and, you know, Cinderella slipper style, it just fits perfectly. And he smiles with like pursed lips and looks back and says, "That is good to hear. I think I did need to hear that. I did my best to help the people of Astoria, but I'm a man of battle. What can I say? And but this was an executive decision that just so happened to collide with my natural tendencies to punch things. Thank you for this. I do not return to rule. I'm going to let Honora do all of that. But just I'm gonna take Father back to the mines. He seems keen on on remaining there, and then I'll stop back by Astoria, check on things, and I don't know. We'll see. We'll see where I go after that. Maybe back here. Seems like Valis could use the company.
It seems so.
I worry about her. She, like me, she was a god left to decide the fate of mortals. And unlike me, she's much better at it, but this is a much bigger city with many more factions and things just trying to mess it all up at a moment's notice. And she's much braver than I in that respect. For hundreds of years, she has been a stalwart leader here, and yeah, I'm in awe of her, really. She's a good sister and a good person. And you'd be wise to listen to her.
Oh, I do.
Well, good.
I did show her a bit more reverence than you.
You showed me exactly what I would expect to see from a peer. Let's join your friends. I think my father isn't great at small talk. But Volcan, actually, Theo, he comes up to you and he says, Theo, I've been meaning to ask you, this whole, actually, I guess I can talk to you directly then, Rue. Do you go by Rue? Is that what you like to be called?
Yes, it's short for Rufinophilis.
I'm imagining Theo looks a little surprised at that. I'm gonna stick to Rue if that's okay.
I suppose. Most of you know what you do.
Theo, this is great. This is I didn't expect this at all. Like I promise it wasn't just me holding back information that you would be surprised by later. This is really something. Like, not only did you give your bird, your Stimfey, a part of you, and from there sentience, but he's growing. He's growing with you as your power grows. That spark in him is like becoming a little flame. I honestly can't wait to see, what you end up becoming there, Rufinophilis.
You can call me Rue. You butchered it.
Rue indeed. Well, hey, let me know if you need anything. I've got the Keladone almost running, so I should be able to keep in a little better touch with you. Actually, did you guys give him a stone of sending?
Nope.
No? Okay. I thought
Did we give that to someone?
I thought you gave one to someone. I don't remember.
I don't think so. Like, I had it during, like, the basilisks, after the basilisk fight.
Right.
I guess we'll just have to send a message. New stone, who dis?
He says, what I will do is, I'll give you this. And he gives you a little, like, pendant sort of shaped thing, made of bronze and mithril. And it looks complicated. And he says, just, slide it this way, give it a little twist, and push here. And once the Keladone's up and running, she'll know how to get to you if you activate this. So
Sweet.
yeah, so we can send things back and forth. If you get any mithril, she can carry it, between you and me.
Oh, we could probably give you some mithril right now. What do you say, boys?
Oh yeah, I mean, you got any on you?
Yeah.
Yeah. He kind of like rubs his hands together. He's like, yeah, let's see it. Oh man, it's always exciting.
Oh.
Like,
Oh, I'll whip out my bag and I'll give him the mithril short sword, the mithril breastplate, the mithril shield, and I think that was all the mithril stuff.
Nice. And Pythor's like, oh, let me see one. And he picks up the short sword and it's like a dagger in his hand, and he's got the shield and it's like the shield is so small on his arm. And he's like, avast, father, defend yourself. And he's like, shut up, kid. But he's like, no, this is good stuff. Yeah. You just want to melt it down? Make it into something else? I can just save it for you until you know what you want.
Yeah, just turn it into bars. Probably be good.
We're gonna have that mine full of ingots before too long. But just look at that catalog I sent you and send word for what you want, and I'll get working.
Yep, I'll take the Nimbus 2000.
Yeah, that's that smoking pipe I've been working on. You saw that?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Oh man, look at you guys. Man, I'm really glad. Whew, Pythor, I might have you carry me back. My dogs are barking. He says, Father, I'm gonna get tired too, but I'll carry you until we're out of sight of the city, at least. And then I'll just roll you down the steepest hill. Man. They say, yeah, well, before we go, do you need anything from us? Or...
I don't know when we could make any sort of exchange, but I know that I got gifts for some of my family members, but Pythor, if you could spare one of your old punching bags, I'm pretty sure my younger brother would be over the moon to have one.
He says, oh, yeah, of course. I always carry a spare a practice bag with me. And he says, it should be here any second. And he looks up in the sky and just kind of stares up in the sky for a few seconds. And then you see like a black pinprick in just the perfectly clear blue sky that gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And then you see, it's a full-on punching bag, about a 10 feet, no, not 10 feet, like a 6 foot long sand-filled leather punching bag falling from the sky. He's like, step back. And he catches it. It's going like 100 miles an hour. Catches it and like sends like a shockwave out from it. He says, oh yeah, I threw this up here a couple minutes ago.
I'm not going to attempt to carry that. I'm either going to give it to Shade or put it in the bag of holding.
Yeah, it probably weighs like 200 pounds. So,
will it fit in the bag of holding?
I think it'll fit. I think we might be nearing on the weight limit of the bag.
No. What is the weight limit of a bag of holding?
500
pounds. Yeah, I think.
Yeah, we wouldn't.
With that huge axe and the skulls and stuff.
Yeah, we've got 4 of those.
You might just need to drag it with you, but you could hire somebody to carry it.
You know what? I'm gonna see if I can give Vulcan the Minotaur axes.
Oh no! Shade is gonna kill you. I think he wants those.
Well, yeah, but he's taking it to our hideout, so it'll be Oh
there. No! I think
I'll give him 3 of the axes.
I thought you only had 1.
I have 4 Minotaur axes.
Oh my god!
And then 1 huge Minotaur axe.
Yeah.
So I don't know if there's a difference.
Minotaur axe is the 100-pound one.
Yeah. Wow.
So I'll probably give the little ones.
You get the little ones.
Okay.
The big like Dark Souls one can stay.
Yeah, we don't want to make Shade upset.
All right. Well, Pythor
and never miss a session.
Pythor and Vulcan, they say their goodbyes, and they say goodbye to Kyra, to Valis, and they tell each other to be careful, and to send word if they need anything, and they start to head out through the city. Cool. What now?
Are we able to get an audience with Valis?
Oh yeah, that's why you came here. Valis is out there saying goodbye, and she's like, oh yes, Do you need me for something?
We just visited the stables.
Yes, and what...
They are... I'm just, like, lowering my voice. They're like... I don't want, like, any, like, passerbyers to hear.
She sees you, like, about to lower your voice, and she says, come with me. She knows that you're about to tell a secret. So she leads you into a inner chamber of the temple, and outside there is a loud water fountain, and in through several very thick layers of drapes and curtains, she leads you into like a prayer room, like an offering room, where there's incense lit, and she says, "What did you all find?"
Well, I imagine. I imagine that if Shade were here, he would relay the information about the living quarters.
Yeah, he would.
I would do so instead.
He would have a deep understanding of, he'd probably have been rolling animal handling checks and stuff, and with his knowledge of how dragons should be treated versus how they are, he would probably lay that out. She'd be, yes, I have heard as such. I do wish that they had better quarters. Unfortunately, any of my suggestions have been ignored.
Well, I do not believe they are true dragons.
She kind of squints. What do you mean?
The one that I encountered was not sentient. For an adult dragon.
Not sentient.
I spoke to it twice in Draconic, and it seemed to recognize that I was speaking to it, but it did not respond. Or seem to understand.
She kind of looks at you, not condescend. I'm trying to think of a different way to describe, like, how she knows something that she's like, this should be obvious, I mean, she is the goddess of wisdom.
Yep.
She's, Magus, have you ever spoken to a baby, to a child?
I mean, not engaged in conversation, but certainly, like, little.
Surely your own
noises,
mother.
Playing with them.
Surely your own mother spoke to you in her tongue and sang to you, told you she loved you, far before you had any clue what she was saying to you. But still, even though you don't remember it, I'm sure you smiled.
So you believe they are not lacking sentience, but lacking
maturity.
Rearing?
I believe they are merely children inside. I've told you that somehow they have grown far faster than they should. I do not believe it's because they are not dragons. I believe it's because they've been artificially aged. Did you find some confirmation of that?
Their entire bodies are infused with transmutation magic.
She huffs. Elaborate.
I'm afraid I cannot.
I'm assuming
a master.
You could tell her the form you saw it take.
Yeah, like the circulatory system, but even deeper than that, it was, yeah.
I fear this is some sort of fell alchemy at work. A potion, perhaps.
I I did not detect any such magic in their food or drink.
Yes, a potion like this is not common enough to be fed regularly. From what I know of aging potions is that they are exceedingly rare, but also exceedingly powerful. Their effects can last long beyond their application. It may have only taken 1 or 2 applications, or is not fed through their food, but delivered at some other time. But your description confirms my fears. I have no idea where my husband could have gotten such things, and this also proves that I can't prove that he is complicit in it, but he obviously is reaping the benefits of this travesty.
Yes, the centurion in charge did not seem to know much about the rearing of dragons.
Tarkhan is a fool. He... You quell a rebellion here and there, you slay a large enough bear, and they make you commander of the legions of the king. No, he's an idiot. A noble idiot. But has no place among these poor dragons. I fear that the damage is done. I do not know how we could make this right. I just fear it's going to get worse. Because as you know, or as you may know, children can be quite raucous when they don't get what they want. And when they are small, it is easy to control. You simply pick them up, and they flail and they scream, but you have the control of the situation. But then you take that child and put them in a body 10 times their size, and you have a formidable foe, one who knows not the impact of their actions.
I also fear a tactical disadvantage.
How so?
If their bodies are maintained through a continuing transmutation magic, if they are brought into battle and one knows of this, dispelling that magic, would it revert them?
I'm not a master of alchemy. I do not know. I do not know if the magic has embedded itself to the point where it'd be impossible to undo, or if it would require some sort of antidote. But this is knowledge that should not leave our minds.
Understood.
If Acastus finds out that anyone knows, at this point his pride is good for us. It gives us time. He's comfortable. He will not act rashly. Falben, have you had dealing with the Lady of Coins? I apologize to assume because of your Medusa curse that you bear, but I believe the Lady of Coins is also a Medusa.
At the mention of her name, he would kind of start and paying attention. He would say yes. Once.
Indeed. Has this been a long time ago?
Almost 80 years.
80 years. A long time for a mortal. You're looking well. Then, even if your knowledge of her is expired or aged, you may have some advantage in this situation. She has a very deep understanding of the underground and criminal nature of Mitros, one that I have tried to combat in my years here, not in the face of her goals, some of which are noble. She opposes the Minotaur market, as do I. She fights to deliver justice in her own way, some of which I do not approve of, even though I understand. But if you can find her, she may be able to help in this. I don't know how, I don't know what, but even if it's just information that we're looking for, she may be of assistance.
I likely still have a connection.
Good. Be very careful. Her order, I hate to say cult. I won't say cult. Her group has grown in both number and power in the last 10 years, and is most likely very different from when you encountered her last. So, though she may remember you and offer you an olive branch, her followers may not. So, be careful.
Falben will nod and say, "There's always a price."
It seems as if you know the way she thinks. And when you deal with the Lady of Coin, understanding that price is speaking her language. I must applaud your wisdom. And your experience, which has given you that wisdom. Is there anything else I can be of assistance to you today?
I have nothing more to ask, my lady. I'm sorry I could not supply more information.
Oh no, you have supplied a great deal, and even just getting the trust of Tarkon is something I was not able to do, which may be useful. Well, I have many matters to attend to, but most of the day you can find me here if you ever need me.
Falben would sort of bob and start walking.
Cool.
Yeah.
Similar.
Bob and walk.
Bob and walk.
Bob
Worthy.
walk.
Pretty. Cool. So you head out of the temple. Where are you guys heading now?
I would look to the rest of the group and say, like, now that there is finally not great threats to the city. Would you all like to meet my family?
Well, if we must.
It's kind of weird because isn't it your family too?
Extended.
Oh boy, that's gonna be a thing.
You're a distant second cousin or whatever.
Yeah, and your family disowned Timon, which is a real dick move.
Falben, after having the conversation with Valus, is kind of like off.
Mm-hmm.
He's like listening to the conversation, but he's not in it. And he kind of says, while he's like looking like off at something else that like it's not focused on, that maybe he's gonna go check something.
See a man about some rats.
Kyra kind of looks over you. Hey, Falben, are you okay?
Was that Kyra or Rue?
It's supposed to be Kyra. Are you all right, Falben?
Falben will look back and say, this place, name, our goal has brought back many memories, and I am feeling we need to be prepared for the next step. He would kind of look back to Magus because he would know that this is kind of an important time for Magus and an important thing. And he would say, I don't feel my mind would be in a place that would be conducive to a family gathering.
I'm sorry to hear that.
You need some help? Can I come with you?
That was a facepalm, by the way.
Take me
I would say to Theo, you never know, there might be some more Timnans.
No.
No, I think I need to do this next part alone.
Shade
coming?
Shade says, does your family have milk?
Yes.
Got milk?
Magus is getting someone to come over.
Sounds like a place I want to be. And he hefts his glaive up over his shoulder and pulls the Ultria bassinet along with him.
All right, let's go.
If you guys want to actually, like, I imagine if you have business in the Agora, I also need to do something really quick before heading off. I was hoping to have dinner and stay the night with my family. If you're going to be gone that long, Falben, do we Do we need to keep
my
give you a
business.
stone?
That might be wise. My business should take no longer than an hour.
In an hour? Is that what you said?
A few hours.
Oh.
Okay, so like assuming Magus and Theo were like able to like do some errands or like otherwise tarry, would Falben, after completing what he's doing, would he accompany them to Magus's family's house, or would he still prefer to remain here?
Leave me hanging, bro.
But man, not sure. So, as I had mentioned, Falben's working through a lot of stuff right now, and he's not being very open about it. And he's like clearly becoming more agitated, not like in a I'm frustrated about this conversation so much as like a antsy, like the thing that needs done is not being done, almost like, you know, the pot is boiling and it's not being taken off the burner.
Titus knows that. Yeah.
Well,
Kyra kind
stone me when you know something better.
Kyra kind of skips over to you and she starts poking you in the shoulder, just like repeatedly. She's like, "Talk to me. Talk
and
to
Falben
me."
tries to turn her to stone.
Whoa, okay.
You've been awfully quiet.
Yeah, I don't think you should show him your family.
You've been really quiet. Please talk to me, Falben.
Hello?
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
She'll just poke you until you either walk away or speak to her. She's just singing and poking you.
Yeah. Falben
If it goes on a decent amount of time, Magus might intervene.
Yeah, but Falben's like he like does he's like kind of like he just never what is happening, like
It's like
he's having like human interaction that's like positive and jovial and humorous, and like is physically touching a Medusa who's like shunned by society, and it's weird and it's like off-putting and it's like warm and it's strange. And at the same time, Falben is remembering a lot of really, like, mixed memories, I think is the right way to say it. And he kind of looks at her and he says, "There is a time to share, and this is not that."
Okay. All right. I'm sorry. Well, we're here for you. You know that, right? We're legally friends.
Yeah. We signed a contract.
And Shade says, "I."
Shade looks it through his glasses and it checks out. Yeah.
Yep.
Line 3 here.
You signed. Yeah, agitated.
Can confirm legally friends. Lawyer Tiger.
Yep. Falben says, "I appreciate that, and what I need to do now will aid all of us."
Okay. And out of character, I'm not trying to like push you into having a character development moment right this second. So like, I will try to follow your lead here. So, Falben has a thing he must do now. Is what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay. Cool.
Magus will give him one of the sending stones and directions to his house, should he change his mind.
Yep. And Theo will whisper under his breath, "Traitor."
And like as I'm about to part ways, I would lean into Magus and I would say, that magic of yours, how far can you speak?
Magus just kind of like grins and is like, anywhere.
Dude, you creepy as hell.
And so I would ask him, what if someone needed to talk to you?
That it's only if I talk to them first.
He'll just nod like 12 times in like a interesting start on his way.
Good chat.
Oh, I do worry about him sometimes. Well, let's go.
There better be a good guest bed where we're going. Not no couch business.
Actually, if Shade and Theo want to do like shopping and offloading of stuff at the Agora, Magus has something he wants to do on his own first as well.
Oh yeah, no, let's everybody.
All right,
just
let's
do
split the
their own
party.
stuff.
Let's split the party.
Yeah.
So actually,
Yeah.
I am down for this. We can kind of bounce between situations.
Yeah.
So Theo and Shade have the goods to go deliver. So you guys are heading off to the Great Agora. Shade knows how to get there. You go southwest through the lower part of Stygian Row, and then you begin to go up the big plateau where the Nerdigan estate is, and the courts of Mitros, and the great gardens, and then you go through the Commerce Gate, and the first stop is the Great Agora, which serves as the heart of both the Noble District and Mitros itself. A multitude of vendors sells all kinds of goods from across the continent. Their stalls are protected from the... Oh, I'm reading this on the screen that you're not supposed to see. Ooh. The stalls are protected from the elements by rows of narrow roofed structures supported by columns, and sprawled out beyond the Great Agora are a number of large private estates, bathhouses, and temples. I did forget to read the description of the Commerce Gate. The gate is decorated with a beautiful statuary and surrounded by lush greenery. Big road, big gate. And you enter the Great Agora. Merchants from all over Thelia gather here during the day to trade and to sell their wares. It's just before noon, and it's a bright, sunny summer day. So all manner of goods are here, from foodstuffs like fish, meat, wine, cheese, breads. There's cows, goats, and sheep, pottery, clothing, bronze equipment. The first shop you come across is it's a large armory that's in a prominent location. You see the walls and racks are filled with varieties of polished bronze weapons, armors, and tools. And there's what looks like an old centurion who is working there. He will buy, sell, and trade like weapons and armor from you. And he sees you approach, and you guys are clearly loaded to bear. And says, "Hey, did you guys bump off an entire legion or something on the way here?"
Nope. 3.
Okay. All right. Well, I may be able to close up early. Yeah. What do you got for me?
We got stuff and we have things. Which do you want to say first?
Oh, definitely the stuff.
All right.
And actually,
So
as you're there, kind of unloading, you spy kind of on a shelf behind him. There's like a dramatic like shine, like wing, and you see what looks like a mithril ingot up on a shelf.
How much for the mithril ingot up there?
Oh, you looking to buy? I mean, it's about 1,000 gold. I'll take for that.
Okay, so I got some things to sell.
Okay, yeah. I mean, hey, saves me from having to pay a blacksmith to craft it into some. Oh, do you have mithril gear? Oh no, you don't.
No, I know a guy who likes working.
You know a guy who works with mithril? Okay, all right. I don't think anybody's worked with mithril since the war.
He is pretty old.
Okay, if you say so. Hey, you didn't buy that stuff from that kind of old coot up in Astoria, did you?
Oh well, that old coot. Yeah, he knows a thing or two.
Yeah, I mean, he's talented. I've actually bought a lot of my stuff from him.
Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah, cool guy.
Yeah, he's got hidden depths.
All right, Mr. Therapist, armor, phalanx murderer.
He does it all.
I'm talking to you, bud.
Yep. Here's all the stuff that I looted from dead corpses.
Okay, all right. How much, like, non-discounted, like, how much value are you putting on the table?
Okay, so I've given him the decorative shield and breastplate. That's 5,000 gold.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
And then you had mentioned that there was 2 things that had platinum in them. Is there any use for
one of those I just gave to Pythor, so we only have one of those now.
I think it's just a shield that has platinum in it.
Yep.
Is there any use for that other than making
it's decorative, basically, so
yep.
Yeah, selling it's probably your best bet.
So that too, and then bronze stuff is pretty but not really useful to my understanding. It's rare, but like just because something's rare doesn't mean it's good. I couldn't think of any reason why we would want that stuff.
So you're placing 6,250 gold on the table.
Jesus.
5,500 plus 750
Holy cow.
would be 6,250.
He kind of just, and he has his hands kind of out on the table, and with his rolled up sleeves, you can see he's got like scars up and down his arms. Looks like mostly blades. And he says, "Well, you might clean out my coffer, but and then
I'll take out one more thing, the Ultros map with the nice box." No, I'm kidding.
Shade puts a big old paw on that box. Nope.
On the map there. Oh.
Nope, not that. Nothing in that box. Just a bunch of poop in that box.
Out, and then I sell the
Oh man. Shade does not allow that to happen.
All right, I have a punching bag.
He says, I don't know what I would do with that. It's all beat up anyway.
No, I think I'm...
All right, so that's what, 62?
Yeah, that's...
6250. Do you want anything to trade? Because, I mean...
well...
I'd like to get something off my hands.
Well, if you give me that platinum... Not platinum.
The mithril?
The mithril bar...
You take this?
For a reduced price, I'd consider it.
On a reduced price. It has been sitting up there for a long time.
I mean, how many people can work with that? That's a long-term kind of thing.
Roll a persuasion check.
Persuasion. I'm gonna add 5 to that with an inspiration.
Okay. We're gonna cut over to Magus. Okay. Magus, where are you going? What are you doing?
I am going to the academy, and I am looking for Master Giannis.
Right. Yeah, Master Giannis. Yeah, right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Where is my description of him?
Ooh, you may not have it. I may have to supply it. If you haven't over the
I thought I had that. I don't have it. Shit. Hold on. Wait.
Please wait.
Hold up. Wait.
Loading.
Wait.
Loading. I am Medusa.
Hold up.
I am Medusa.
Wait a second.
I am a satyr.
Master Giannis.
Master Yoda.
He's not in the document I have.
Well.
Okay, I am going to transfer him over into the Mega Social Net real quick.
Okay, yeah, I don't know where
Social Net.
All right.
Upload him real quick, will you? You've got, a few terabytes of data now?
Something like that.
Under
just text from.
Okay, should be in there.
Oh, yeah, okay. And we'll say he resides, where does he normally reside? In like an office, I'm assuming, like the headmaster's office.
Yeah.
You know your way really well through the academy. You also know exactly what time classes like filter in and when the quietest times in the halls are. So you can move kind of through without being hounded. You get the occasional person that goes like, "Wait, is that Magus?" But you do make your way through the halls, past the different schools of magic. Until you get to a humble but well-appointed office. And you open it, and inside is Master Giannis, who is a human war priest. He has tall, broad shoulders and a mop of unkempt brown curly hair. He looks at you and says, "Oh, hey, what's up, Magus?"
Giannis.
My guy, best student. Hey,
Yep.
We don't have, do we have, what's the word? Valedictorians? Is that a thing we do here? I don't know. Actually, you've been missing a lot of classes lately.
One could say I've been studying at the University of Life.
Hey, all right. Oh, man.
I mean, I have learned a lot.
We'll just call that your internship, right? Yeah. Hey, yeah, that's cool with me, man. It's just the system. I didn't make the rules. They just, for some reason, give me the keys to the place. What can I do you for?
I don't know, a nice dinner and a glass of wine.
That's violating so many rules, man. Again, I don't make the rules. He kind of scratches his head and a pencil falls out of his hair, and he's like, "Oh, where'd that come from?" Well, I'll write down what you need. All right, what's up?
Actually, yeah, that. Can I just talk to you for a minute?
Yeah, we've been talking, right?
Yeah.
Writes down redundant, but seeing where this goes anyway. All right, so now that we've hey, step 1 complete. What's step 2?
If there's a door to this place, then I'll close it.
Oh yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
I
That's a heavy door. That's not an easy one to close.
In going about through the world, there have been people telling me that I didn't get my abilities on my own. I mean, you know, I can do. I may not be the strongest wizard, but I can challenge convention when it comes to casting.
Hey, man, I mean, you know, if anything, you're willing to try stuff that nobody tries, right?
Yeah.
And that's the scientific method, right? If you don't ever mix those two things together, you know, you're never going to know if it explodes or if it cures the gout.
Yep, and I know a guy who could try that stuff. He loves eating things.
You're not here.
Who's that? Who's that? Who's that?
That's Theo toilet communicating again.
So Magus, like it sounds like to me you're talking to a lot of people who have no real idea who you are as a person and who don't have investment in your life, and who don't basically see your day to day, see the work that you do. You know, I've got your file right here. Do you want to just take a copy of it? And if anybody's throwing shade, you can just hand it to them. Be like, hey, look at my accolades. You really should have a copy of this.
I don't think. Oh my goodness, that's a thick one.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that would work. Would you mind actually? Could you do a favor for me?
Yeah, man, I mean, anything. You've earned it.
And I am going to reach up and I am going to unlace my bracer.
Whoa, hey, remember I said that violates several rules.
Yeah, keep your clothes on.
I just kind of like Tommy Lee Jones over the newspaper, look at him. This and like I take the bracer off and I'll say like this is everything that I've been working on here, and I know that it works for me, but it doesn't really mean what I think it means if it only works for me. Could I give this to you and see if you can attune to it? And if you can use it?
Yeah, I mean, hell, you know me, I'm always willing to try something new. Work on, you know, actually, like, you're looking at his, like, library of books he has in here, and whereas most professors have, like, 90% from one topic, you know, whatever they're masters of. Master McKayon is just like, he is like the ADHD of scholars. He's more like the Doc Brown, like the pot smoking Doc Brown of the philosophy world. He, you know, he's a master of all sciences, but he's also kind of a dweeb. But he says, yeah, dude, I mean, I honestly thought this was a birthmark of yours or something, but I'm just kidding.
Oh, no,
I'm just kidding. I remember you started working on it. Crazy stuff, and it's been working for you pretty well.
Oh yeah, it's like it almost feels like it's grown stronger.
Well, geez, all right. Well, hey, I like to think I'm never a complete person, but every new thing that I try gets me closer to that. So, you know, here's to you for helping me along my goals. Yeah, hand it over.
Yeah. And I give it to him.
It stinks. I'm just kidding.
Hey, I have to say that I've been like applying oil at least like once a week.
Oh, wait, there's a Slim Jim in here. Did you need this? Okay, all right. He puts it on and like laces it, and he just like stares ahead.
Yeah, I'm gonna be.
I don't feel anything.
I'm gonna be seeing my family, so I'm gonna be like back maybe tomorrow or a few days after.
Oh, all right. Okay, so I better
Oh yeah, you don't have to do it like right now. I know you have classes to prepare for.
I have like a board meeting in like 30 minutes. I could.
Then come to think about it, I've also been in those classes that you quote unquote prepared for. So.
Well, how can you prepare when you study, 20 different schools of thought? You just throw out what comes to mind and hope you give a well-rounded experience, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I'll see what I can get out of it. And if anything, it looks cool. Yeah, I'm digging it.
Oh, I've been proving that for a while now.
Yeah, you do look less cool since you took it off.
Ah, damn.
Do you want me to like draw you one on? I got some like colored pencil here.
Nah.
You sure?
I'm sure.
Plenty of colored pencil. All right, you seem convinced. Yeah, just come find me. If I'm not in a board meeting, I'll be rolling a D20 and going and doing a lecture at whichever hall it lands on, right?
Thank you.
Hey, no sweat. Seriously, Magus, anytime, except for when I'm in my board meetings.
I wouldn't step foot in one of those, so you don't have to worry about that.
Shit, I was really hoping you would do that for me.
Ah.
I hear you've been, disguising yourself a lot, so that could be useful. Anyway.
I am not going to try and pull one over. Let me look up the Master of Divination.
Oh, what if I write you up a little permission slip, right? And then you can go pretend to be me.
I think that defeats the purpose.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. All right. Well, hey. You know where to find me, except if I'm not here, and then you might not know where to find me.
Yeah. Well, I need to meet up with some friends.
Well, you won't have to walk very far.
No, I don't.
All right, get out of here. Let's cut over to.
Yeah.
Let's cut over to Falben. Yep. Are you back?
I am here.
What are you doing? What kind of creepy shit are you doing?
Yeah, what kind of creepy shit you doing?
All right, so Falben takes out the bag of rats. No.
Finally.
I use scrying.
Yeah. So Falben's gonna be entering like full stealth mode as much as you can in broad daylight.
Hood way down.
Hood way down, but all the training that he's had with 100 years of being a Medusa and shunned and being good at avoiding people, he's going to use all of those skills.
Sure.
And he's going to be very sneaky, and he is going to be surveilling where he would know that the Lady of Coins used to be, and that area and the network that she was involved in, and basically trying to gather information about what is true today about the Lady of Coins.
Okay, let's see. Nope, that's not what I meant to type. Hold on. Okay, so you know that actually in your kind of sleuthing around, you come across a small group of people that are gathered on the road, and they are kind of looking on in shock at an incredibly lifelike statue of a woman just in the middle of the city street. And the statue of the woman has a look of abject terror on their face. And you can hear them kind of, the people around chatting, or not chatting, they're muttering to each other about, like, this is, I've never seen this. What is this doing here? Is this the work of the Lady of Coins? Is this her people? And nearby, kind of on a wall nearby, you actually see, like graffiti of a green snake painted on the wall. And you recognize this as the symbol of her cult, the cult of the snake. You know that most of the thieves in the city are loyal to her. So she, even though she does not have like an industry, or a position of like official power, she has a great amount of funding because she basically funnels in stolen goods, coinage from her cadre of thieves. Her identity, her whereabouts are a closely guarded secret, and I don't think you would have even known where her like hideout was back 80 years ago, and it's probably not at all the same place now.
Right.
But you do know what her like signs are, and knowing that the thieves are mostly all loyal to her, you at least know what kind of person to look out for if you were trying to get word to her or track someone to her location.
Yeah, so right now, Falben's trying to gauge basically her alignment, and what her motivations are. That is what he's trying to gain information on.
Okay.
He doesn't want to walk into the meeting without context, and so he's approaching this very cautiously. He wants to know as much as he can before either he or his friends walk into that meeting.
How do you want to try to gather that information? Do you want to try to get it from one of her cult, or like ask a citizen what their opinions are about her, or what kind of source are you looking for?
I mean, the first thing that I'm going to be investigating is what is the identity of this lady who was turned to stone just recently.
Sure.
I'm going to be trying to eavesdrop as much as I can, like, what is going on there? If I'm not getting the information from that, I will turn to questioning.
Totally. I will say after a few minutes, you're just kind of like Assassin's Creed style, just kind of sitting on a bench, between some guys, and eventually some centurions come up and kind of clear the crowd away, and they tell everybody to clear out and that everything will be okay, and then they're like, oh yep, looks like the Lady of Coins, or the work of the Lady of Coins. Hey, do you recognize her? This poor yeah, she was at that big Nerdigan estate party this last week. Oh man, what a figure. Her and her husband were, big in this city. I don't have a name for them, but they're describing her as basically one of the kind of elite of the city. Just primarily wealthy, not really politically wealthy or politically powerful, but just wealthy and rubbing elbows with like the upper echelon of society here. And they say, man, I swear, like, those parties are gonna have to get wilder and wilder to get people to get out of their, to leave their mansions and go, go party with Terran. As a man, at this rate, they're just getting cut down like the barley in the fall. Seems like there is a little bit of a reverse class warfare going on here.
Right. I think that's enough information for Falben to get the rough lay of the land. At this point, he would start transitioning.
Can you do a history check really quick?
Oh, a history check, you say?
Uh-huh.
One moment while I get to the attributes on my sheet and find history. History. Normal.
That one.
I will
Try again?
I will save my inspiration.
Okay.
Okay, good call.
Like, they're talking about her as a rich person in the city, but you don't really have any context for that besides, oh, she's rich, and the Lady of Coins tends to try to take from the rich and give to the poor kind of thing, very Robin Hood style. But you don't know any motivation outside of that based on the context here.
Right.
Let's hop back to Theo really quick. Theo, are you still in the Agora? Is there anything else you want to do in the Agora?
I was wheeling and dealing and seeing if I could get a discount.
Yeah, your discount.
For that.
Yeah, he
19.
He offers you a 25% discount. So you would pay
Okay.
well he would
$750.
he would give you
He would take out $750.
yes. Yeah.
So he would give me
So you'd get the
$5,500.
ingot of mithril that's worth 1,000 for only 750.
Gotcha.
Right.
Yeah.
So I've got 5,500 gold.
Amazing.
Add a
And-
mithril ingot.
Look at that.
Mithril.
Fantastic.
That's right. That's how I roll.
Cool. He says, anything else? If not, I'm just gonna close up shop.
Am I seeing anything that would appeal to me?
At his shop, not really. He's got everything you can find in the player's handbook. So any weapons, armors, and tools that you could get from that.
Basic.
Pretty basic stuff. And he says, hey, Zoran next door, he's got a little alchemy shop. Tell him I sent you and he'll give you a little discount.
Okay, all right. I'll do that. Thanks for the wheeling and dealing.
Hey, just be careful though. He's kind of a prickly pear. If he insults you to your face, just don't take it the wrong way.
Sure. Yeah. No. Totally. I'd never do that.
Uh-huh.
All right.
Okay.
So I'll head over to his shop then.
Yeah.
And kind of meet the Philly Peach.
Sweet. He it's an alchemy shop, so there's a lot of fabric, there's a lot of strange smells, and you come up to the counter and you hear movement back there, and you hear hurried footsteps coming up. He says, hey, get your hands off the counter, I just cleaned that. And he takes out a bottle of spray stuff. It's like fantasy Windex, and he's wiping down the counter.
Yeah.
Can you?
So are these glass containers then?
It's a yes. Oh wow, keen eye. Yes, glass. Wow, it's clear and it's hard. It's not ice because it's summer and it's hot. And why am I talking like Timon now? What can I?
Oh, you know Timon too.
What can I do for you, sir? What can I do for you, my liege?
You want to know what you could do for me?
Oh yes.
Okay. Clean this spot. No touch area on the counter.
He says,
Wow.
You know, I could just test this new concoction on you. I have no idea what it'll do, but the cat did not like it.
Well, got a concoction too.
Well, wow. Okay, well, you know, open up a store right across from me. Why don't you?
Well, I'd rather look at yours, but I don't understand why you have a thing to look through.
It's just the
but
countertop.
It's the
it's the countertop. It's, you know, it's. Have you ever been to like a jewelry store? No, you of course you wouldn't have a bow. You wouldn't be buying a ring. Anyway, if someone maybe blind, maybe deaf, would you ever, for some reason, decide that you were the person they wanted to spend the rest of your life with, they might take you to a place like mine with a counter like mine that you can see through. Wow, amazing. And you can see through and you can see all the rings and the necklaces and amulets, and they might buy one for you for some reason. They like your presence for some reason, but if they could see you and hear you like I could, they would run screaming. But the point is, you can see the goods and you don't touch, you just look. Now I'm getting very, very impatient, very bored of this conversation. Well, what can I do for you? Please just tell me.
Well, got anything good at killing stuff?
Oh, I really wish. Right now, I really wish I did. Unfortunately, most things I have are for healing. So, which you might need if you keep bothering me.
You know, your service is grade A. Your customers must be very satisfied with the level of harassment they receive from you. How you're able to operate a business, I do not know.
Well, you know what? I am a humble man, and I know that if I was nice, I would just be one of those rich elite assholes, and I would be just simply unbearable. So I tone it down, and I am this person so that I undergo a level of challenge in my life. You see?
Oh, I'm sure you have many
I impose that
challenges in
upon
your life.
myself. Unfortunately for you, that's just how you're born.
I don't
We're gonna
think
buy
you
our health
choose
potions from this guy.
I'm not.
All right,
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you 10 more seconds, and then I'm going home.
Oh, you can go home.
Okay, goodbye.
You can go home. Goodbye.
Okay, he goes home.
I need to talk to Falben when he gets back and see if we can break into this guy's shop.
Okay, and we're gonna cut over to Falben again. You didn't buy a thing from him.
No, I ain't giving that fool money.
I think this is chaotic neutral. Oh my gosh.
So Falben, you know the Lady of
I
Coins.
can just hear a finger smudging on glass right now.
Sorry, my finger slipped.
No, it's all good. Oh man. Okay, so Falben, what are you going after next?
Yeah, I'm going into full like scout mode. I am fluent in Thieves' Cant, and
Right, you are.
I'm familiar with the thieving network and how they communicate, and I would know something about protocols.
Yeah.
Not necessarily about the snake cult itself. But I am now kind of in the middle of trying to figure out and gather as much information I can by surveying the city and looking for the signs that would exist in hidden ways. And trying to learn as much as I can about the green snake.
So, you kind of after the people leave, you kind of poke around where the symbol of the green snake is, and you see a symbol that is a circle with like an X in the circle, and that is a symbol in Thieves' Cant for a safe house. And then under that, there is a square with 2 parallel horizontal lines drawn through it, which is the symbol for a hidden door. And then there is an arrow pointing to the left, which leads to kind of a like an under a bridge sort of area, like an alcove.
I would head that direction very cautiously, very sneakily, and like be gauging traffic before I enter any narrow causeway.
Okay. Yeah, you come across a spot where you see another symbol with a triangle and then an inverted triangle overlaid on top of it. And you're trying to remember what that means, and then it clicks just as you're hearing the boots of centurions come through, and they pass right past where that symbol is, and that symbol means that guards patrol here. And so you wait for them to pass, and then you continue, and then you get to the alcove where there is the hidden door marking again. So roll a either an investigation or a perception check. I love Thieves' Cant. I completely forgot that you have it.
Sneaky.
Really nice. Yeah, you kind of chuckle to yourself, and all your snakes kind of and you grin as you just kind of like push on a stone in the wall, and it pushes in, and then you slide it to the side, and it latches, and then you can feel the wall loosen a little bit, and it lets you push through and then close it behind you. And you are now in the secret underground. You go for a little while. Every now and then there will be a grate up above where you can hear the crowd overhead. This seems like kind of a mix of official drainage with like carved out passageways. It's kind of a mishmash. I don't know. But eventually you come to a symbol. It's a circle with 2 lines drawn down through it, which means fence. In the thieves' terminology, that means like somebody who buys stolen goods. And there is a small wooden door by that symbol.
Let's see here. Falben's gonna go in.
Okay. There is a very humble wooden counter with kind of ramshackle shelves hung up behind it, and an oldish, like bearded man who's pretty pale. Seems like he spends a lot of his time underground. He puts out a cigarette on the counter. He says, "Hey, what can I do for you? What are you selling?" "Don't smoke." Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Falben walk up and place the +1 breastplate on the counter and say, "He won't be missing this anymore."
Oh, wow. Sweet stuff. Wow, hey, assassin target? Where'd you get this? That's not my business. I'll give you 800 for it. Oh wait, no, sorry. I had said earlier like a +1. Just
It's 500.
500.
500 is a fair market price.
I'll give you 350 for it.
How about 250 and some information?
He smiles and he's got several teeth missing. This sounds good to me. And he reaches down under the counter and unlocks a little strong box and pulls out a bag. And he's slowly counting out the money as he asks you. He's like, what are you looking for? What kind of information are you looking for?
I'm looking to talk with the lady of the coin. Do you know how I would reach her?
Well, I guess that depends on what your needs are. Since she has a pretty layered system of people that handle things for her, so you might be just as well suited with one of her lieutenants.
Where would I find this person?
Oh well, keep on going in till you reach the safe house, and they should be there. They should be there now. Marcos, tell him Rensler sent you.
All right. And Falben would reach into his backpack and take out an adamantine javelin, set it on the counter, and say, "This is for you."
Oh man, you know how to make a good first impression for a shop owner. Yeah, hey, tell him Marcus Figaro sent you.
And I would look at him and with like a knowing smile.
He basically has given you a more reliable in with his full name. So he starts to put on the breastplate, and then like as you're leaving, he's like hoisting the javelin over his kind of weak old arm. It's like, oh yeah.
Don't smoke.
Drops it and he goes like clang, 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 clang. So loud, adamantine on the stone. But yeah, you leave Marcos Figaro's room and head deeper in where you can start to smell the smell of cooking food and a fire. And inside there is there's a man with kind of long mutton chops and a top knot. He looks tall, but he's also got daggers just all over him in his boots, by his ribs, and he's just like stoking the fire. And he looks up, and he's got one hand kind of behind him. His hand facing you is stoking the fire, but you're pretty sure the other hand is on a weapon. And he says, "Can I help you?"
Marcus Figaro sent me.
You hear a shk as the dagger goes back into the sheath, and he stands up and he hangs up the iron poker, or not the iron, the bronze poker in the little rack, and he kind of brushes his hands off. He says, "I do apologize for the caution. You seem to have made a good impression on Marcos. What did I say my name was?"
This is a great source of information.
Rensler. Or did I get that backwards? Was it the merchant's name?
I don't know.
I think it was Rensler sent me.
And then you changed it to Marcus Figaro.
I should have had that backwards. The shopkeeper is Marcus Figaro. Rinsler is the lieutenant in here.
Okay.
He says, name's Rinsler.
I would seek an audience with the Lady of the Coins.
You're an ambitious sort. Why do you need to meet with her?
It's an old story. One that is not for everyone's ears. I would say that our business is our own.
Wow, that's bold to meet a man and immediately tell him why his presence doesn't matter in the situation. But is that? Oh, those snakes I see under your hood there.
You'd be stoned.
I mean, he can see the snakes. It's just your eyes that he can't look at.
Yep.
Yeah.
And at that, I would remove my hood and say, yes, what of it?
Well, just letting you know that may be important information for me to know. Not every day one with one of the Medusa curse comes in my door. In fact, it's almost no days that happens.
Almost zero.
Almost 0 days. But it is
on zero.
But it does matter. I tell you what. There are pretty clear protocols for the lady. But this seems to fall within one that I am familiar with, but I have not used in a while. So here's what I will tell you, so I advise you listen closely, because I won't tell you again. But you can listen back on YouTube tomorrow.
Or via Spotify channel.
Or via Spotify at
like, subscribe.
At D and Daniels. It's advertisement free, in fact.
Quality entertainment at affordable prices.
Wow. No, he says, in 2 days' time, meet at the foot of the Colossus. Come at night. And if you don't come alone, I would trust you would come with... I would insist you come with people you trust and people that don't mind embracing any potential consequences of being in your company. I vouch for you only, and that vouch is very thin, but enough to get you where you need to go. So, I think we're done here. It's nice to meet you, Mr.
Underwood.
And this is when the whole party realizes Falben has never, ever, ever given a last name. Falben would say Falben.
That's very easy to remember. Falben. All right, well, don't be late.
I would nod to him and replace my hood and begin retracing my steps.
Okay, cool. All right. Is there anything else you're trying to look into on your little quest?
I'm trying to keep track of the people I've seen. If there were any like identifying clothing or patches or colors.
Sure. You would have noticed on the let's see. Rinsler and Marcos both had kind of low cut upper body clothing. Shirts. That's what they're called. And right above their heart, there was a small green serpent tattoo.
Right on their shirt, right out in front.
No, like on their skin, but their shirt was low cut enough where you could see it. I hear you taking notes. Yeah.
You can hear me typing, huh?
Yeah, I can hear the 9.0 earthquake happening.
And my heart.
I'm sorry.
And my heart grows a size larger every time I hear it.
I am moving my microphone
No.
and turning my sensitivity
No,
down.
I love it. Oh, no.
Thank you.
No. Yeah.
Yeah, so that, and I'm also trying to keep a tally of anybody that I think is a part of this organization. Anyone that I cross in this alleyway, and kind of the how should I say it? The battle readiness of the individuals.
Sure.
Like, are they well equipped? Are they not well equipped? Are they hungry? That sort of thing.
Okay. Do a I guess just an investigation check. That or yeah, I think investigation is good for that.
And I'm gonna +5 that with my
Okay.
inspiration.
So 21. You could tell that from the you after you left the secret door, maybe about 30 minutes later, you saw another person go in through there, and they were dressed much more like a street urchin, dirty, tattered clothing, but they did not look hungry. In fact, they looked like very healthy. Almost as if they are dressed in a way that makes them look less, like less visible, less important to do their thing. The only people you saw with that were geared up with decent weaponry was Rinsler in the underground. Anybody else you saw had at most a shiv or something, like a pocket knife. But you of all people would know that can be enough.
Pocket knives are good.
Yep.
Pocket knives are good.
So it seems like the network is well hidden, has deep levels of protocol and insulation, and they're doing okay. They're doing pretty well for themselves.
I think the last thing I would do, I know I'm kind of dragging here.
It's okay.
I would try to find a spot where I could be hidden, but have eyes on the traffic around the safe house, and stay there for a couple hours.
Okay, I feel like that's kind of what I assumed you were doing anyway.
Okay.
If you're staking out, let's do a stealth check just to see if there's any complications from you being there for a few hours. 17. Okay. I'm gonna roll something privately on my screen.
Dun dun dun.
Okay, so what's your kind of hiding spot? Are you doing like a hiding in plain sight thing, or are you like behind a thing, looking through some like a slit in the wall, or how are you hiding?
Because I've been seen by Rinsler and Marcus, I wouldn't want them to see me just like lingering.
Sure.
So I would be trying to hide somewhere specifically, either in an alleyway nearby or a rooftop, actually.
Okay, yeah.
And kind of looking over the ridge.
Cool. So you're looking over the ridge of the rooftop, and you're up there for like an hour and a half. There is another thief making his way to the safe house entrance, and there is a roof tile that slips and falls off the roof, and he snaps in your general direction, but you duck behind the roof in time, and you come back up, and he just looks confused, and then proceeds on in. You guess that if he saw you, he probably would not have proceeded in through the secret entrance. So you're pretty sure your position was unknown.
Did I get like a face?
A face. This was like a.
I don't need a description, but would I know him if I see him?
Oh, no, you wouldn't know them. They're like a young teenager.
Okay. All right. I think with that, Falben would move on.
Okay. Did you guys have a meeting spot? You were gonna just.
I was just planning on finding them in the Agora.
Okay, cool.
Shade's pretty easy to find.
That's true.
I would take my stone at this point, and I would be like, "Hey, Magus, I'm heading to the Agora."
Whoa.
Bringing the party to you. Theo.
I think you can respond as a part
you
of
can.
Mm-hmm. Stone, Magus, if you choose.
Yeah, he just like, new phone, who dis?
I'll just respond. It's like I'll see you there.
Okay, so Theo, the last thing you kind of come across, or not, there's a lot of things, but the last thing I'm going to tell you about is you see a sign that says the Great Menagerie, and there's a large tent, and inside you can it feels like kind of cold air inside. It's kind of dark, and you can hear the sound of like rattling cages inside. Do you investigate or no?
I mean, do I want to let the cat out of the bag and into the menagerie?
The cat?
I mean, in this case, it would be Rue, but
oh, sure.
I'm sure there's birds in there. I'll take a look. See what's rattling my cage.
Okay, so inside there are dozens of cages lining the walls, and of various sizes, but various offerings as well. There's a muzzled lion, a cheetah, a cockatrice, like the big chickens that you fought, with a hood over it. It's got a hood over it.
Yep. We still got the corpse of that.
There's a hooded harpy in one of the cages, a muzzled brown bear, a tied up goatling, and a tied up centaur. And there is a table as you enter, and there's a ledger on the table, and in pretty large print on like a sign, it just says, "Welcome to the menagerie of the collector. All creatures for sale, 100 gold. All sales are final." place the money in the box, and open the cage of your choice.
Like a vending machine.
Yeah.
Nothing at all troubling about this.
Shade says, I don't think this is a good idea.
I am a satyr.
You are. That's true.
I am a satyr.
Do you want a lion, a cheetah, a cockatrice, a harpy, a brown bear, a goatling, or a centaur?
I mean, the harpy and the cockatrix sound interesting, but bird-like.
Yeah, but not the sentient ones.
Yeah, but they're the same price, and like more meat on the bones.
Oh my gosh.
No, you know, it's interesting that they're all the same price, though. You know, you got a centaur over there.
Mm-hmm.
Satyr. So it's, you know, that's a lot of. I'll go over to him and I'll kind of be like, hey, how's it hanging?
He's like literally tied up, like he's like hog tied.
Yeah.
Which takes a lot of rope for a centaur. He's like, please let me out. Please help.
Anything else?
Anything? Do you want to share recipes? No, let me out. I'm a prisoner here. I'm being sold as an animal. I'm not an animal. I'm a centaur.
Huh. How'd you get here?
I don't know. I'm just here. I does it matter? I'm in a cage. Aren't you one of those famous heroes? I'm an enslaved creature. Please help.
Ah, I see. See a hero and you think that you're free to go.
Jesus.
You picked the wrong hero, bud.
Please, I'll give you a ride. I'll give you a ride. It pains me to.
2.
Huh?
2 rides.
2 rides.
Oh my god.
Seriously, no. I'll give you 1 ride. Please, just pay the gold.
You're hogtied in the cell. What's 2 rides?
Roll a persuasion check at disadvantage. Because this is not a great argument. Okay, not great for your first roll. Okay, he says, okay, fine, don't let me out, but here's what I will do. I'm going to spend the entire rest of my life cursing your existence and making your life a living Hades. Do you understand? I may not be powerful, I may not be a hero, of which you clearly are not either, but I will do everything on my 4 legs and 2 arms to make sure that life sucks for you.
So, let me get this straight. You're gonna go into slavery because you don't want to give me 1 more ride?
Yes, I will. Yes, I will.
Oh man, I'll take this one.
No, you can't just no. I've already.
I'll take this one.
No, I've already agreed to curse your.
I'll put 100 gold in the till.
I've already agreed to curse the ground you walk upon. You're not going to just free me now like nothing like you didn't say anything. I
just like somebody with some fire and a backbone.
I can play it back. Listen back to it on YouTube tomorrow, and you'll understand.
No, I forgive people. I'll put 100 gold in the till.
Okay.
And open up the cage.
You do that, and he is still hogtied, and he says, "Are you going to untie me?"
Well, yeah.
Well, yeah.
I'll let Shade do that because he's bigger.
Yeah, Shade unties him and says, "I'm really sorry about him." The centaur gets up and he stands high above you, and he says, "I do not thank you for releasing me from this cage. You have only started me on a long chain of events that will eventually lead to your ultimate derision and cursed existence. In fact,
whatever gets you up in the morning, bud."
Yes, this will wake me. This will wake me before the dawn until your doom.
Good.
And then, when your doom has finally arrived, I will sleep in late.
That will be a well worth reward.
Oh, prepare for your what's it called when you have a like an ultimate rival
Arch Nemesis?
Yes. Prepare for Castor, your arch nemesis. This is my origin. You have set me upon this path, the path that you will regret for eternity. And he runs out of the building.
No, before he runs out, Theo, you need to ask him for the ride he said he'd give you.
So you're not gonna honor your debts? Pretty shitty origin story beginning, isn't it?
He with a clippity clop runs out of the shop.
Not very honorable, is he, Shade? See what happens when you're nice?
Shade just says, "I have no idea what just happened." Wow, I didn't expect that to happen.
You should know better with this group.
So at this point, Magus and Falben, you guys see a very tired-looking centaur run out of this alchemist tent, or not alchemist tent, like a circus tent almost, kind of tripping over his legs as it seems like he's tired and having trouble standing up. And people are kind of screaming, and he just goes running off down through the commerce gate.
Well, that was odd.
But
I assume that whenever I assume that when weird stuff happens, my friends are going to be close by, so I go into the tent.
Cool. And yeah, Theo's inside.
Hey guys,
Yep.
Did you see that centaur that needed to pee?
You guys heard him like screaming curses at that satyr, like may Sidon strike you with every lightning bolt in the world, and like may Thelia, grant you every night will be sleepless for you and all that. So you heard some of these things as he was running out.
Yeah, it was just my friend Castor.
Yeah, I see you made some new friends.
Yeah, he's always like that. He gets worked up pretty easy. So anyone else enslaved in here? Let's sleep here.
There's the goatling.
Oh.
Yeah, but Falben's here now.
Yeah, he just ended up killing him. I think he's safer in the cell.
Probably.
Just a brief timeout. I think we may not have time to do the full reunite with Magus family sequence.
Yeah, it's looking like we're already
we're a little
daylight savings didn't happen for me.
We're a little over. That's true. So the way we'll start next session with that. But the way we'll end this one is you guys finally get reunited, and you're kind of you're gathering your thoughts of what was going on, and then an onlooker spots you and it's like, "Oh, it's the heroes of the hurricane! Oh, it's the heroes of the oracle! Oh, it's Acastus's champions! Oh, it's Pythor's champions!" And a crowd starts
What are they doing in the slave tent?
Well, you guys are at the door. You guys are at the door of it.
This is a popular meeting
and it's
place.
not a slave tent. It's a menagerie that just happened to have a sentient being in it.
That's totally different.
Yeah, but there is a big crowd starting to bubble up and gather around you. and you are soon swarmed by people, and you begin to be crowded and lovingly, as we'll wrap there. So cool. All right. Well, I'm 99% sure that we actually got that one recorded. So I'm glad because a lot happened, and I need to take better notes. Any shout outs, any nominations for play of the game or moment that you thought was cool?
Yeah, comment below with what you think it was.
I'm asking you.
I thought you were trying to engage the audience.
He's in loopy mode.
Mail us at P.O. Box 333, San Bernardino, California. No.
Caster.com.
Yeah. Oh man. I've never gotten to do a just unabashed arch nemesis.
Yep.
You'd
think it would be against his slavers, but I'm impressed at how quickly he switched targets.
I hope you understand why he's mad at you. I sincerely hope you understand that.
He was willing to give me one ride, and I asked for one more, and he got upset.
He was willing to give you one ride until you asked for two, and then yeah.
I mean, it's the same thing. He was already willing to compromise his staterhood already.
Well, he is an irrational son of a bitch then, and
I'll agree.
And you'll get to put him down without any remorse, and it'll be great.
Well, I liked his backbone, so I might have a little remorse. He seemed like a real fire
yeah,
Oni.
definitely.
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah.
Wow. That didn't answer my question though. Anything?
I mean, there are so many memorable moments.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's Magus giving over like his focus to somebody else, and like questioning his identity.
That was a big moment. Yeah.
You have never seen
Magus
without that. Like Magus could be naked tied to a bed, and he will still have that armband on.
The armband stays on.
If we look at your arm right now, you have this weird, super pale white spot where that thing is. Everything else is tan, and it's just like.
I don't know if it would be pale because he's using oil and stuff. It might be like
he does oil
color.
That's true.
We need to make fun of him later.
Definitely.
Could be like a spray tan situation.
So mechanically,
Magus is being very vulnerable right now.
This is what friends do.
Yeah.
They ask for the second ride.
They ask for the second ride.
I swear you have made an enemy of me this day, cousin.
I thought we already were.
This is like the second act in any movie where like the heist gang starts to fracture. Oh man.
There's Kyra saying we're legally friends.
So I have to admit that's a carryover from my campaign. That's a little inside joke, but I always thought it was really funny. Shit.
Well, it's pretty funny.
Yeah. I kind of forgot to have Kyra be saying things, so I was like, okay, yeah, I need to have her say something.
She's tired.
She's tired, yeah.
Then there's the very chaotic session that Theo had, and we realize again why Theo travels with the party.
He needs a bit of a buffer.
Choices were made to split up, and
you asked for this.
What's really funny is I'm excited for Davey to listen. To
oh yeah, hey, maybe
and be like, oh, Shade was there.
do you have any?
Theory, like Shade was at the Alchemist.
Yep.
Like remember, like you allowed all of this to happen.
I did. I guess
there as a bodyguard.
we could maybe pretend that Shade like got distracted by something else. There was maybe like
a shiny light,
like gelato, ice cream,
fresh milk.
Yeah.
There was someone selling battle axes, and he just couldn't resist.
Yes.
Yep. Come get your axe. Come get your axe.
I
keeps you smelling fresh for 7 days.
I really
freshly slain blood.
What is wrong with Theo?
Wow. Yeah. You guys got a lot of information that I did not expect that you were going to be able to uncover. So, like, between all of you, like, you really did some cool stuff that will benefit you later. Yeah.
I was not expecting to be able to get as far in on the Lady of Coins as I did.
I mean, you still have a long way to go.
I didn't think I was gonna.
But
I know, but I didn't think I was gonna get a meeting set up.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, it.
Granted, it might not be her I'm meeting.
True.
That's not entirely clear.
But it absolutely helps that you are who you are, and like you made some good choices in like treating her support network well. Like that's he isn't just a fence. He's like a judge of character, and you passed that test without knowing it. So yeah, there's like I said, it's very insulated organization, and there's a lot of checks that you have to pass. So, but yeah, I'm excited to flesh that out a little more too. Because we didn't really do much Lady of Coins stuff in the game I played in, so...
It was fun getting to use Thieves Camp.
Yeah, dude, I actually need to send you... I found a cool chart of, like, Thieves Cant, like a visual lexicon that I was, like, using to describe these symbols and stuff that you were seeing. So I'll send that to you really quick, just to you, because you're the only one that speaks it.
Look at that.
Yeah. But know that this will basically let you make those marks yourself. So if you wanted to like communicate on a atypical time frame with her thief network, you could use Thieves Cant to do that. You could like make a symbol or assortment of symbols to leave a message. So
or if I needed to leave some symbols outside of an alchemist shop and say valuables inside wealthy.
Right. Or no.
Hit this place first.
You do already looted or nothing valuable inside, and then you can go get it yourself. Or you do like safety this way, and it just goes to like a guard's outpost. No, I mean you can do whatever you want. But yeah, so
all depends on why they're doing what they're doing.
It sure does.
We don't know yet.
You don't know.
We don't avoid splitting the party for the safety of the party members. We avoid splitting the party for the safety of the world.
This is true. I
was gonna say, like, when I went into the door, I was like, I wasn't really planning to go in. I hope this ends up okay. Well, at least I have the sending stone. I'll be able to say I was here when I died.
That's true.
Magus will just hear help. I'm.
Great. To your point.
I just think it'd be funny.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
If you sent help, and then that was it.
That was it. Help.
Oh no.
Great, to your point, together, the heroes of the Oracle are table salt. You're delicious and a lovely little seasoning to put on food. Separate, you are chlorine and sodium and bad for your health. Yeah, I love that. Except for Shade, the moral center of the group.
Yep. This is what happens when you miss an episode.
Somebody has to be the dad of the family.
Oh, man. That's great. Well, cool. Well,
the leases are loose.
I know we've run over time, but thank you guys for sticking with me. I know we hadn't gotten to play in a while. But we'll wrap it there. And thank you all for joining. Bye.